Hello everyone, my name is Abimbola Kiyomi Iliokoya. Some things have been occurring to me and I'd like to share it with my people out there. I've noticed that quite a number of people spend a lot of money planning their wedding. They involve so many people, they get so many vendors to make sure that the day or the days are of utmost success. But I've also observed that quite a lot more out of this number of people that get married are actually finding it difficult to stay married. Many marriages are breaking up, and it's at such an alarming rate that it calls for attention, that we need to begin to ask yourself. I don't know if you have ever thought about it. We need to begin to ask ourselves, what is happening? Why are marriages breaking? What are the reasons for all the breakage in marriages that we've been having? Some are separated, they are not divorced, but they are not living together anymore. Then it calls for thinking, why are this happening? I've been married for 28 years. I've had my rough and smooth times, but I know that in the midst of it all, you can still cope. You can still keep this marriage. You can help put it together if you, as a spouse, is ready to put in your best to make sure that you remain married. And I want you to just share your opinion with me. I want to rub my own minds with you. I want to share with you what I've been through, what I've seen, what I've experienced, the kind of counsel I've had to give to couples based on their relationship. I want us to just rub minds together and decide what can we do to salvage marriages. Statistics has it that in the United States of America, over 50% of their weddings end up in divorce. And even much more, a higher percentage would end up in separation. In Nigeria, we might think we don't have statistics. What is happening here? In just one customary court, within 2 months, 25 different cases of divorce were filed. Then it shows that this is real, it's happening, is here. Then what is wrong? It's as if families are under serious attack. And truly, families are under attacks. And we must think of what to do to salvage our marriages. Yes, you are married. You can remain married. You can choose to remain married. Are we ready to pay the price? Because for everything good, there's a price to pay. Are we ready to pay the price to remain married? Then we'll be looking at maturity. Maturity is the sign that you are ready to go. You are ready to let go every other thing and focus on this institution. Marriage is an institution that you don't graduate from. It's a school that you get a certificate from inception, but you don't graduate from it. So it means you have to keep learning day by day in order to improve and ensure that your marriage works. I am telling you, your marriage can work if you are ready to give in all that you have to ensure that it works. We'll be looking at adjustments. Many people are not ready to leave their comfort zone. This is how I've been doing it. This is how I know how to do it. And this is how I have to continue doing it. We must learn to adjust, that it is no longer you. It is you with somebody else. Your readiness to accommodate this other person and learn some values from the person and let go of some things that may affect that marriage negatively. These are the things we want to be looking at. We want to look at communication. Many couples don't even communicate at all. They rather talk to their friends than talk to their spouses. How do we improve communication in marriages? These are just some of the topics we'll be looking at. I've been married for 28 years and I'm ready to share my wealth of experience with as many as are ready to learn. Families form the bedrock of every society. When you have strong families, you'll have strong communities, and then that will mature into a strong nation. It means if the family is under attack, the community will be under attack, and then the nation gets its own share out of it. Now, families are made through marriages. It means if you have strong marriages, it will form strong families that will form strong communities and a strong nation. But families are under attack by reason of so many issues. Evolution, education, people are getting more aware. People are saying you need to be who you are not supposed to be. Now, if you are married, you must be able to work out your marriage and ensure your parents. May I just remind you, in Africa, Many marriages worked because the parents paid the price. But the education, exposure, the way we talk, the way we move, the kind of books we read are working against marriages now. But you can choose to make your marriage work. You can choose to ensure that your marriage remains intact. You are married. My advice is that you stay married. Get ready to pay the price, because there's always a price to pay for something that is good. Nothing they come cheap. Get ready to pay your price. Let's have a look at adjustments. What do I mean by adjustment? It's the ability of a spouse to leave some of the ideals. Because marriage is not an idealistic relationship. It's realistic. So all the American shine, flower, cake, all of those things, it will come to an end. So you now face the real thing. And that's why I'm telling you that the school is an institution you don't get to graduate from. Adjustments. You must understand that you are people from different backgrounds. You have different personality traits, different social background, different educational background, different cultural background, in fact, sometimes different religious background. Now, you two have made up your mind to come together. It means you must be able to marry all of these differences together and then form a strong family in spite of your differences. You are people that were raised by two different families where values were different. For example, probably in your own family, your breakfast had always been spaghetti, or you have proper sandwich with tea and oats. And in some families, it's always pounded yam in the morning, because that's the only meal they're going to have until they return to the house. I'm just giving you an example of little things that make a world of difference in the life of two people. You have never lived together. You may never get to know certain things about your spouse. For example, values. Some people, I've had people talk about pressing of toothpaste, and then it becomes a big issue. In your own family, everybody is very conscious. You press your tube from the very extreme. But he presses his own anywhere in the middle. That shouldn't create a problem. That is the way that person was raised. So now, feeling that you cannot change, making up your mind that it's either the way you want it done or nothing goes forward, will be tantamount to being selfish. Yes, it means you're being selfish. You're not ready to let go to your own way of doing things. You have forgotten that this is someone that came from a very different background from yours. Your ability to let go some of those things you hold close to your heart and adapt to some of the things you have never experienced in life is what makes you a couple. I want us to look at another value entirely. Your approach to issues. You might be somebody that is always very optimistic. That's still talking about personality differences. You are someone that you are very optimistic in everything, and the other person is pessimistic, no risk taken. And then you are just too cold for my liking. You're always seeing evil in everything that happens. No, it's a matter of, it could even be genetic. The way the person, it runs in your blood. That's the way the person has been formed by God. So for you to say you want to change it overnight will definitely create a lot of chaos and wahala. So what am I saying? Learn a new thing from your spouse. See it from the perspective of the other person. You can't be right all of the time. And if you keep saying fault, then you keep saying fault all the days of the marriage. Do you know, if you assume something is nonsense and you keep listening to this nonsense, before you know it, you won't hear the none again. Then you'll be hearing sense. It means you're adapting. It means you're getting into the flow. It means you're understanding that person. It means you are learning. It means you are ready to fuse together as a couple. You must be ready to accept your spouse for who he is or who she is. You must be able to accept. If you don't accept that person the way the person is, then you're bound to have issues. You claim to love each other, and that's why you are married. Then you must allow that love to continually grow. And as the love is growing, the faults will be reducing, because you won't say you love when you love a man, Oyinbo man will say, love me, I love my dog. You have to love everything about that person. So it means in spite of the flaws, in spite of the faults, you are ready to take the person and stay with the person for life. That is accepting your spouse for who he or she is. And I've had people talk about their own background. Constant reference to your home. This is the way my dad used to do it. This is the way my mom used to do it. Come on, you're not married to your father. You're not married to your mom. You are married to a different person, raised by different parents. So constant reference to what you used to do in your own home before you were married will be, especially is contrary to what your spouse is doing, is bound to bring hurt. Even if it is not expressed, it should be there. And when it mounts up, before you know it, it blows up into your face. You've been through that all your life, and now you're starting a new life. Even if you make reference to it, it must be to bring out something positive in that marriage. If you are not bringing out something positive, if it's saying something contrary to the negativity you are seeing in your spouse, then what you're spelling your spouse is that you're not adequate enough. You're not perfect. You're not like my dad. You're not like my mom. People get hot slaps. I've had people that got hot slaps by simply referring to what your father used to do. Is it not something I'm saying? Is it not just? Is it what is it? Is it more than this chair? Why do we have to take so much care of chair? We have people that were taking care of chair, and then he's saying, "No, this is the way I want it done." If you are not careful the way you are treading, hot slap is coming, and then before you know it, greater issues are evolving from it. I know that marriages can work if only we're ready to pay the price. In this world of everybody becoming professionals, people are talking about equality in gender. I'm not an advocate of gender equality. If you want to talk about marriage, there's order. In marriage, there's a head, there's a body. I don't know who you will say the body is, but I know the husband is the head of the home. Some wives call themselves neck that carries the husband around. Fine. Whether you are the neck or the body, you are still under the head. So we must leave the hierarchy the way it's supposed to be, so that you won't begin to let him feel less of a man. If each time you look at him, you feel he's not doing enough, he's not working hard enough, he's not bringing enough money into the family to run it, then you are saying that this your head is not a good head. And I know the neck cannot survive without the head. So when you're looking at the family, we must be ready to submit unto one another. You must be ready to submit as a wife. You must be ready to submit as a husband. I've had people quarrel over even where they sleep on the bed. Some will say, my body, if anybody's body touches me, I'll wake up. Why did you get married? You are married. So you must be ready to say, okay, I have an extension of my body at the other side of the bed. Some will even put pillow. Said, if I don't put pillow, I won't be able to sleep. Ha! You must learn. Tell your body, my body, begin to adapt. Because you are not just, this is half of me, the other half. Is it possible for you to go to bed and leave one hand and one leg in the other room? It's something it's a matter of reprogramming your mind. Your mindset, you need to work on it and begin to say, yes, this is my new person, this is my new status, this is my new ideals. And I know you can do it. You can do it. No matter how bad it is, no matter how at edge you think your marriage is, no matter the cracks you think you have, no matter the dents you think you already have, you can still mend it. And I want to tell you, it might be going through your mind that look at it, I'm not the one at fault. It's the one that is not putting enough effort into it. No. If you see it from your own end, that let me put in the best I can put into this marriage to make it work. Honestly, it will work. Some 3-4 generations ago, marriages were not breaking at all. Once you're married, you remain married. 2 generations ago, people started walking out of their homes, leaving children behind, abandoning their marriages. This present generation, it has gotten so worse that people can be married for as low as 3 months and then it's over. What side would you rather be? I'm sure you took time to think about this all through before you decided to marry. I know that your marriage can work and you can remain married. This is not the end of the matter. In fact, it's just starting. I know that your marriage can work. All you need to do is to just focus on it and get ready to give it your best. I'll catch you again. I remain Abimbola Akinwumi Okoya now that you are married.